Representative Keith Greiner.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, gentlemen, for being here, and Chairman Holden. Appreciate it. In preparation for this today, I had some questions very similar to the two of my colleagues before me, and I think Chairman Ross had a good point too. I just was wondering, moving forward, looking at the financial information, but I guess segueing off their questioning, I know you had mentioned that this was a worst case scenario, or at least the numbers that we're looking at, and I was wondering, does the governor, is that what the governor is expecting you to do when you prepare that type of proposal? Because my understanding is that when we're looking at this as a legislative body, that we're looking at historical values and historical figures in order to make an educated decision. And I just wanted to inquire of that to start.
Well, the document you're talking about was prepared internally for our use as we prepare to try to plan for the future. That was not to be shared with anyone. That was an internal document. As far as the governor's office, we were in consultation with the governor's office about initiatives beginning in the transfer year of 2016 and 2017, 2017 and 2018 on initiatives. And we believe we can meet those.
Well, like I said, in all due respect, I know we had the re-budget request from last year, and we have the statement of cash receipts and disbursements worksheet, and I don't believe that's an internal document. But I did, like I said, I guess the other thing that I'm thinking about is if we're trying to make decisions on here, I would think there might be a footnote to say this would be a worst case scenario to at least give us a baseline of where we might be headed. But that's just my thoughts on that to get started. But moving forward and kind of following up on Representative Dunbar, some of his questioning, I still conceptually have a hard time how we raise revenues about 4% every year and we're raising costs 6%. Eventually we're going to run into a snag. I mean, whether it's 6, 6.5, 5.5, eventually you're going to reach a point where you can't continue to distribute those funds. But what I was wondering, can you give me specific examples of how you would intend to control costs moving forward?
There's a couple things to share on that. First off, we're operating like a business in the sense that we're always looking for cost efficiencies, both under Governor Corbett and now Governor Wolf. As you've probably read, they have an initiative to drive out inefficiencies in the state, which we've participated in from day one. We are working right now, and this is a list that is fluid and it's constantly changing, but right now we have a list of projects we're working on internally to reduce our costs by approximately $4 million. A lot of it is, I'll call it nickel and dime, singles, doubles, a few home runs in there, and that's just one example. We've got, I'll mention this, we've got a couple capital initiatives. I think you see one on the documentations you have regarding an e-licensing system. That e-licensing system is about a $4.5 million investment, which will lower our costs substantially starting in 2016-17. It's a 3-year project to implement, basically allowing licensees to do almost everything online in dealing with the LCB. So there's substantial cost cost decreases we're going to be experiencing because we're very, very cognizant of that.
Well, like I said, just from looking at the financial information here, it certainly appears that the costs are outpacing your expenses, and just conceptually, when you think about moving forward, I see issues, I see problems down the road, and the other issue that I do see with this is I'm not sure that we might not have to do some things legislatively moving forward to allow some of these things to be implemented. Am I correct in my thinking in that?
The initiatives that we are looking for would need a legislative fix. The initiatives that Governor Wolf is looking for would need a legislative fix as well.
Well, but that goes back then to
which are very similar, I must say, just starting a different year.
Understood, but that goes back to conservative budgeting. We could try to make projections here based on other pieces of legislation that we anticipate in the future, and I know you like, I mean, the term worst-case scenario. I think sometimes that's the best way to look at things moving forward in order for us to make an educated decision. But like I said, I had serious concerns when I'm looking at the information and the numbers moving forward. And like I said, we're going to have to continue to work through it. And Chairman Ross, I thought, made a great point. If moving forward, if we're going to try to expand the liquor stores and yet we're trying to maintain or control personnel costs, I'm not quite sure how you do that without not increasing, personnel and staff in that regard. But I appreciate your time, and thank you for being here today. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.